God bless. Who was next in the line? Who was next? We have three names. I'm not sure.
I know I wasn't next, but if the others are not here, then I can mention a few things I'd like to say.
All right, go ahead.
All right. Well, it's regarding the fact that this all started with criticism of who I would consider and correctly consider an anti-pope, Anti-Pope Francis, and his predecessors. Like you said, it's not just him. It's since 1958, especially the 28th of October 1958, that they have been promoting false religions, and that is unacceptable. No Christian can accept the promotion of false religions. And likewise, Catholics are Christians, absolutely. But we reject the promotion of false religion. So when they say, "Oh, like for example, John Paul II, may St. John the Baptist protect Islam and all the people of Jordan and protect the country, the great God-blessed country of Jordan," that is extreme apostasy. No Catholic can say that he wants Islam to be protected. So these are not Catholics, these are not Christians, these are not popes, that we're dealing with. And that was the original point that you were making, that then for some reason, some people didn't want to accept that.
Yeah, well, the second the second you touch something sensitive, people go crazy.
Yeah.
Sadly, some people, they worship the Pope. They don't worship Jesus. That's it. You cannot touch the
Yeah.
Pope. But we know. I mean, it's getting out of hand. I mean, this guy. This is the last one. He said there's no hell. Once he said bless
Yeah.
bless
Yes.
gays, and then he
Yeah.
says and then in four popes or five popes already, they claim and they announce in their website, the Vatican, the official, that Muslims are
Yeah.
included in the plan of salvation, and
Yeah.
they are Abrahamic. So,
Yeah.
but we know that the Bible says it clearly, who is the Antichrist? The one who denied the Son and the Father. It's very simple.
Yes.
And the Muslim,
Exactly.
they deny,
Exactly.
they don't
And
even accept to call God Father, and their God is not a
yeah.
spirit. He have different nature,
Exactly.
he have different name, and he is the enemy of the Christian. He go after them to kill them. So
Yeah.
how?
Exactly.
Yeah. So
I've actually just shared a link to the Vatican website, the official Vatican website, Vatican.va, stating that John Paul II, it was just sharing the words that he shared in his speech, that he prayed, and I shared it here in the chat as well. So he says he'll pray for the Muslims, etc. Okay, and then he's praying for their health, and health for the Muslims, saying God bless Jordan, God bless you all, talking to the Muslims, God bless you all, and then he says, quote, "May St. John the Baptist protect Islam and all the people of Jordan." End quote. And he continues with some blessings to the Muslims who are in his audience. That is unacceptable. No Christian can believe that. So these guys are anti-popes. These are not popes. These are just heretics pretending to be popes to deceive Catholics. And to make it worse, John Paul II is, quote, canonized, but it's not a true canonization. It was done by Francis, who is an anti-pope himself. But that means that people have to consider him to be a saint, and not just a saint, but a great saint, because he's being called by the Vatican II sect this great pope, and they promote him so much and say he is a really great man. So now you've got a guy who is praising Islam and praying for St. John the Baptist to protect Islam, and he is supposedly a great saint. That is unacceptable.
and now they call him saint, correct?
Yeah, they call him Pope St. John Paul the Great.
Okay, look what happened.
Pope St. John
So
Paul
now,
II the Great,
yeah, and this is my fear, because
Yeah,
in 50 years from now, as long this guy is a saint, this will
yeah,
become part of the tradition, right?
yeah,
So
yeah.
now we
Already it is.
yes,
Already.
see,
And you're
yeah,
right that someone can't be a Christian and accept him to be a saint, if they know what he did during his life. If they're just ignorant, it's understandable. Some people don't understand, they're unaware. That's fine. But if they know that he was kissing the Quran, bowing down to the Quran, accepting a Quran as a present, praising Islam, praying for St. John the Baptist to protect Islam and all the people of Jordan. It's one thing to, maybe pray for Christians in Jordan to be safe or something, but it's a different thing to say, "May St. John the Baptist protect Islam."
yeah. See, it's clear. I mean, I don't know what to say. Actually, I never heard this before. By the way, if I know it, I will never,
Yeah,
I will never wait until now. but I never heard him saying that. So this is why, if I
Yeah, I
trust me,
shared it.
if I heard this a long time ago, I will wipe the floor with this guy. In fact, yeah, honestly, in fact, when they say to me that he kissed the Quran, I said maybe because it's politics. The guy he kissed the Bible, so he kissed the Quran. So I gave him an
No.
excuse. I did not accept it, but I said maybe this is
Yeah.
the reason, politics. But after what you are saying, do you have a link for what you said?
Yeah, I shared it. I can share it again in the chat.
Uh,
It's up in the chat, but I'll share it again
okay,
here.
share it
So
again.
it's at the end of this webpage. At the very end is where he prayed, and the reason why he did it is because he was at the end of his speech praying for Sinjin the Baptist to protect Islam. And the other guys
Well,
have done similar things. Even Benedict the 16th, he sounded like he was criticizing Islam, and then the Muslims said, "Oh, how dare you do that?" So he apologized for that all. He said that he disagrees with the things that he had said. He said it was a mistake. He was just quoting what a Byzantine emperor had said, and those are not his own beliefs. So, and the other thing is, they bring these guys, these pagans, they bring Muslim pagans into Christian lands, into Christian churches. They remove all the crosses. Benedict the 16th did that at Assisi number 3, and he's done that on many other occasions. He prayed inside mosques several times. He prayed inside the Blue Mosque in Istanbul, Turkey. He prayed inside an African mosque, I think in Sierra Leone or something. So they go inside these mosques, they pray like Muslims, literally in the same way the Muslims pray. They pray with the same gestures. And John Paul II did it. John Paul I was only reigning for about 33 days. So he was elected 34 days, I think, and then 33 days he reigned. So he had no time to do any of this. But he still agreed with the other ones doing it. Paul VI did it. And John the 23rd didn't do it as much, but he did say things like, if he had been born into a Muslim family, he would always have remained a good practicing Muslim and believed in Islam. That is apostasy. And he said that in 1960. I mean, that is, several decades. I mean, that's almost 7 decades ago that he said that. And back then, people were much more conservative. So
yeah.
for someone to say that he would remain a good practicing Muslim and believe in Islam, that's a complete anti-Christian sort of statement.
And like you see, I think the Lord He wanted me to talk about this because if this guy did not say this, I will never be open this topic. This is really going out of hand.
Yeah.
I never thought really. I did not focus too much. My focus in Islam. I never spoke about any
Yes.
churches, and it's not my
Yeah.
specialty. I'm not a scholar. I don't claim to be a scholar in the Bible or I'm just a normal like everybody. I can be wrong. I can be right. I
Yeah.
do my best. But I never
Yeah.
thought for a second that the Catholic Church is hijacked by the devil.
Yeah.
This is the devil.
But I should say it's the physical structures of the Catholic Church because our property is owned by them, but they are still true Catholics like myself that
No, no,
truly
no.
believe in the
I'm not
faith and
saying I'm
reject
not
it.
saying the Catholic are the devil. I'm saying it's hijacked by the devil.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
this guy, anyone, the same as you are a Catholic, you are so angry. You are the one who gave me
Yeah.
all this information about the cat, and you are
Yeah.
a Catholic. So it's
Yeah.
obvious that you are so angry from this, and you are against it.
Yeah.
And then what they call him Holy Father. That's what is making me more
Yeah.
crazy. You know
Ridiculous. Yeah.
how he is the Holy Father. I
And
mean, what
it's
is
the
the
same thing. I mean,
Go ahead.
yeah, to consider him to be Holy Father, you might as well be considering the things that he is saying to be holy as well, because then he's saying all paths are religions to God, all religions are pathways to God. The diversity of religions is inspired by the Holy Ghost. God wills all religions, and he says these sorts of things very frequently. And his predecessors used to say them too. Benedict the 16th, John Paul I, especially John Paul II. They used to say similar things, but he does it really all the time, denying the existence of hell. And they even deny things that maybe Protestants would disagree with as well. But for example, purgatory. John Paul II denied purgatory. Anti-Pope Francis has denied purgatory, the existence. These are Catholic beliefs, but especially things like hell. Denying the existence of hell, it's so obviously in scripture throughout the Old Testament, throughout the New Testament. Hell is mentioned all the time. So how can someone deny the existence of hell or teach that hell may be empty?
Yeah, well, obviously those people, like if a Christian prince he said such a thing, okay, when your Christian prince is not the Pope, he's
Yeah.
he's not a scholar. Maybe he's made a
Yeah.
mistake. Maybe he don't understand. Maybe he's a
Yeah.
fool.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this is the Pope. I mean,
Exactly.
this is the Pope. This is not somebody, you know. This is the Pope. This is the one
Yeah.
supposedly he speak many languages. This is the one who been elected by the cardinal. I mean, you elected him for
Yeah.
what reason? So
Yeah.
this is not a guy in YouTube. We don't know what he's talking about. Maybe
Yeah.
his English is funny like Christian Prince. This is
Yeah.
the Pope, right? So,
Exactly.
so
Exactly.
and then how in the world we want to speak to Muslims and say to them, you are going to go to hell? If we just told them, you do not, we pray
Exactly.
for
Yeah.
protect. And look, you see, he did not say protect Muslims. He said protect Islam.
Yeah. Exactly.
Islam is a religion which is antichrist. There's a huge difference.
Exactly.
There's
Yeah.
a huge difference. Like, if there is a, we as a Christian, we will never pray for Muslim death. We will never, because
Yeah.
this is evil. So
Yeah.
if Muslims, let us say, once I was in Germany, and
Yeah.
there were, it was raining very much, very hard, and
Yeah.
there, in a bus station, there's only little place have umbrella. The rest people have to
Yeah.
wait outside. Not everybody have
Yeah.
umbrella in his hand. A Muslim
Yeah.
woman, she went to the where they put the schedule for the buses when they arrive.
Yeah.
She is old, very old woman, and she is a Muslim.
Yeah.
You can tell she is dressed as a woman.
Yeah.
Me, Christian Prince, and how much I speak against Islam. I
Yeah.
stood, I gave him my chair, I stand in
Yeah.
the rain. Because what
Yeah.
I saw someone in the age of my mother.
Yeah.
She's a Muslim or not, that is not the issue. She's an old
Yeah.
woman, she need help. And me, the
Yeah.
Christian, should do what I should do. Even maybe
Yeah.
in her heart, she's praying for my death. Maybe even if she
Yeah.
knew that I'm a Christian prince, she will shoot me or she will stab me. Yeah, this is the truth.
Yeah.
But I did what
Yeah. Yeah.
Christ
Yeah.
taught us to do. But there's a huge difference
Yeah.
between protecting, praying for someone as a Muslim to be saved, or helping him. Maybe
Yeah.
he's poor, maybe he's hungry, maybe he's in the street, maybe
Yeah.
he's homeless, or saying protect Islam, the religion of the devil. That is satanic.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm the same way as you. Exactly. We can maybe be kind to everyone, but at the same time, when it comes to protecting Islam, I mean that is absolutely satanic. It's blasphemy. It's a sacrilege. It's irreverence, and it's really evil. And for someone to say that, it proves that he's a non-Catholic and that he's an anti-pope and an apostate. It's not just like Martin Luther didn't say, like, for example, these guys insulting Martin Luther. I would also do the same. But Martin Luther never went anywhere near as far as saying protect Islam.
Yeah,
He never said that. He never said protect Hinduism, protect Islam. Islam and Hinduism and Sikhism are religions that lead to God and lead to heaven. He never said any of those things. So he was maybe wrong. I would say he was wrong. But at the same time, he was not a complete apostate like the Vatican II anti-popes who promote paganism. They are not successors of St. Peter. That's impossible. It's impossible. And anyone who defends that looks ridiculous when they claim that these guys who are promoting homosexuality, stating that hell is just a fairy tale, basically, no one is there, stating that pagan religions lead to God, stating that maybe Jesus wasn't the Messiah and it's fine. Like even Benedict XVI, he said to Jews, and similar statements several times, but there was one time in particular that he said that the Jewish understanding, like Jesus might not be the Messiah, is fully acceptable. He said that, either way, it's like a 50-50. Jesus might be the Messiah, he might not be the Messiah, we don't know. That is just complete heresy. So these guys are apostates. They are people who clearly disbelieve in Jesus. They don't believe in Jesus Christ, and they're not Catholics and they're not popes.
well, what we can do is just to share, and
Yeah.
like now you said things, people they might agree, not agree with you about Martin Luther. However,
Yeah.
uh, there's no way someone, let us say, I can have a wrong understanding about something in the Bible, but there's
Yeah.
no way someone he can claim to be a Christian for a second. He
Yeah.
support Islam and he support that salvation can be granted to you by any religion.
Absolutely.
That is
Yeah.
absolute. That is not. That it's not to debate about it. This is not a debate.
Exactly.
Like we can debate about
And they say this.
about icons. We can debate about statues. We can debate about those things. But those things are not to debate.
Yeah. Yeah. They are promoting paganism. There is no debate when someone is promoting paganism. That means that they are a pagan themselves. And just recently, I think it was at the beginning of it was at the beginning of 2023. I think on the 12th of January 2023, no, the 11th of January 2023, Anti-Pope Francis said at a catechesis of his general audience, he stated, okay, so regarding Christians proselytizing, meaning Christians who evangelize, he said, don't forget this. When you see Christians proselytizing, meaning Christians evangelizing, which is what we do, right? Making a list of people to come. Christians always have been missionaries evangelizing. He says, these are not Christians. They are pagans disguised as Christians, but the heart is pagan. Then he said, the church grows not by proselytism, it grows by attraction. So we cannot evangelize. In his opinion, it's
Mhm.
wrong to evangelize, and you are a pagan disguised as a Christian, but you still have a pagan heart if you evangelize. So imagine that. He's telling us we are forbidden from proselytizing, we're forbidden from evangelizing, sharing the gospel, going out to the nations and sharing the gospel to convert people to Christianity.
Yeah, actually, for me,
I can
always
share that as well.
I am disappointed always with many people who they are priests or bishops. Like I remember once an Orthodox bishop. Usually, I don't say which church. I say a bishop
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I avoid making people trigger. Because the second you say Catholic, they get upset. Second you say Protestant, is somebody will upset
Yes.
right away. And because I do my best to try to make us united, but we have to be united not around the name of
Yeah.
a church. We have to be united around the Lord Himself, the truth.
Yeah.
So he said to me, because of what I do about Islam, he said, "Son, what do you get from what you do? What do you get from what you do?" I said to him, "How many Muslims they accepted Jesus because of what you do?" He's like
Yeah.
75, maybe 80. He said, "None." He said, "Ask me the
Yeah.
same question."
Yeah.
So instead of
Yeah.
encouraging me, imagine he's a bishop. Instead
Yeah.
of encouraging me to be proud of me, says, "Okay,
Yeah.
we need more people like you. Yeah, show them that
Yeah.
they are wrong."
Yeah.
He is
Yeah.
doing the opposite. He is telling me
Yeah.
you are wrong. He want to
Yeah.
make me feel guilty. So how in the world
Yeah.
you are a bishop? This is your job. In fact, we are doing what we are doing because they are not doing their job.
Yeah.
They should be here, not me.
Exactly.
I should be listening.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, I should be learning from them.
Exactly.
I should be
Yeah.
teaching me, not me. I'm not a priest. I'm not a minister. I'm not getting paid from a,
Exactly.
So they have a job, and what their job now became just doing rituals. They go in
Yeah.
certain time to the church. They open the door. They do a certain prayer, and then when the time is up, they close. And nice to meet you. And then we read the same
Yeah.
scriptures. We don't teach. We don't explain. We don't refute.
Exactly.
And then Christians go on the street. They meet Jehovah's Witnesses. They meet the Mormon. They meet all
Yeah.
kind of people. But we teach them nothing.
Yeah. Exactly.
At least, okay, you know what? Even like they say to you, they don't agree with the Protestant. At least teach them what the Protestant believe.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Just teach them, like you want them to oppose an idea, at least teach them why you oppose it. So tell us why, what's wrong with them. So they will not teach
Yeah.
you. They will not. In certain time, even they don't allow people to have the Bible.
Yeah.
What's wrong with you? Why you don't want the people to know? Because they want to control people. They want to. It became a government. It's a government.
Yeah.
So the government, you have no authority. We have the authority, or nobody. It's only for us. But we know that the Messiah, he spoke to
Yeah.
everybody. Everybody listen. Everybody hear.
Yeah.
The Bible is not for a certain group.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you,
Yeah. And
brother.
they say these things all the time, these sorts of apostate things. They say many things that are just complete apostasy. Just earlier this year, for example, Antipope Francis said, God is one, he is one, and all religions, all cultures look at the one God just in different ways. We look at the one God in different ways, which is false. When a Hindu is worshipping a rat, is that looking at God in a different way to us?
Well,
Completely heretical,
he's acute. He's acute.
And promoting also, it's not only Francis and the anti-popes. It's not only the anti-popes. It's all of these leaders. These guys claiming to be church leaders, claiming to be, not all of them who claim to be bishops, of course not, but it's a lot of the people underneath him are very similar. And for example, just a few days ago, this guy Radcliffe, who is an advisor in the Vatican, Synod spiritual advisor in the Vatican newspaper, he said same-sex desire was created by God. And he
Clever.
said many other things similar to that. And it's a long promotion. He wrote a very long promotion of sodomy.
Yeah, you see,
He
like
said it
this,
should be
this is
loved,
this is
cherished,
this is this is
respected.
satanic because now
Yeah,
I can justify any act I do by saying
yeah,
it's God. Okay, you know what? It's not a lie that God He gave
yeah,
us a sexual desire. It's we are creation
yeah,
of God, but to say that if those people they have that because God gave it to them, this is a big fat lie, because
yeah,
everything everything is in the brain. Like as an example,
yeah,
maybe you have a daughter, she is 20 years old.
yeah.
Maybe your wife, she is 50. Who is more pretty, the wife or the daughter? For sure, the daughter, right?
Obviously, my wife. To me, in that case, it would be my wife because
No,
how
no, I'm
can you be
saying
attracted
as
to
a
your
beauty,
daughter?
as a little reality, and then
But you mean like to other people, not to
no, no,
me as
no,
the
no, no,
father of
pretty,
her.
pretty in the eyes of a man. Let's say you are just a man.
Oh, okay,
So
other
there's
men. Yeah,
there's two
obviously, I
women.
suppose the daughter most
There's two
likely.
women. One of them is 50 or 60 or 70, and one she is 20. Which one is going to be more pretty? For sure, the 20.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
now you go to your daughter room and you open the door suddenly, and your daughter is changing her clothes. Maybe she just came from the shower naked. Are you going to
yeah.
think about her in the wrong way?
That would be awful. That would be very
No.
perverted
But
and
okay, but
disgusting.
hold on. But why you will not think about her? Because she's your daughter, right?
Because she would be my daughter. Yeah,
Exactly. So everything is in the brain. It's not what you see,
yeah,
is what you think about what you see. So
yeah, 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 yeah,
if I see a woman in front of me and I think of sexual things, I will see sexual things. If I see
yeah,
a man and I think about him in a sexual way, that means I direct myself. You see, it's how I
yeah,
direct my sin to be. So it's not what they say, it's false because
yeah,
everything is in the brain. The same as you do everything in life.
yeah,
If you go to jewelry stores, it's full of jewelries. You wish to take them all, maybe, but you don't do it. It's all in the
yeah,
brain because your hand can take it. You can break the glass, you can grab it, and you can go. But your brain will tell you this is wrong. Don't do it.
yeah,
So when
yeah,
we say that God gave us desire, this is true, but God gave us a brain to control the desire. We are not
yeah.
animals. Animals they grab what they see, for they are
Absolutely.
animals. Animals they fight
Yes.
over two cats. They fight over one cat because they are cats.
Yeah.
You know. So the second we start acting like cats and rats, where we are not a human no more. And this is what they are trying to
Yeah.
make out of us. They are trying to make us cat and dogs.
Yeah. Absolutely. Exactly. I'm sharing a quote of one of the things he said, but it's so long. He wrote a major article basically for the Synod on Synodality that promotes. He's a spiritual advisor to the Synod on Synodality, and he's writing an article that promotes sodomy, like a big article. And I shared a part of it. For example, he said, "My hunch, quotes, my hunch is that most gay Catholics, which again, there are no gay Catholics, like." You can maybe have sinful desires, but you need to pray for those to end. But you cannot accept that God has made you a homosexual. That's forbidden. God doesn't make anyone a homosexual. Sodomites and sodomy, it's completely forbidden by God, and He's always against it. So if someone rejects it and then maybe I suppose it's possible for maybe someone to have a thought like that for a moment and they can be a Catholic, but you can't accept it and say that that is from God and still be a Catholic. You have to reject it and say this is not from God. It's unnatural. It's perverted. It's disgusting, and you need to work to stop it. But if someone is engaging in sodomy, that's what he means. He's saying people that are just gay and engaging in it and stuff like that, they are not Catholic. So I apologize for even saying this, but this is what he said. Quote, my hunch is that most gay Catholics in mature, committed relationships usually go beyond much interest in, sorry for saying this, in sex. What they seek above all are love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, generosity, faithfulness, meekness, and self-control. There is no law against these things. End quote. That is extreme dishonesty. He's saying that essentially sodomy, it's like, and sodomite relationships are the fruits of the Holy Ghost, because these are the fruits of the Holy Ghost from Galatians 5, verse 22 that he's quoting. And then he's saying that sodomy and sodomite relationships are about the fruits of the Holy Ghost. That is apostasy.
Well, isn't it Paul even he said that even drunken will not go to heaven. Even drunk.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
I mean, this is Paul. You see
Yeah,
how they misquote verses to justify evil.
yeah.
So when Paul
Twisted.
he said, I remember once I was in Paltalk long time ago. A woman she said to me, "Do you really trust Paul?" I said, "What's wrong with Paul? What's wrong with him?" She said, "He said a drunken will not go to heaven." I said, "So don't drunk, get drunk."
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, so they want to design God as they wish. We want to be drunk.
Yeah,
We want to sleep around. We want to do everything. We want to steal. We want to lie. And then we say it, we convince ourselves that we are going to be saved. But we know that
yeah,
this is absolutely false. Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
this is why we have to stand against those liars. Otherwise, the young
Yeah,
ones, the new generations, one after one, they will believe them, they will trust them, and they will accept more and more. That's why the society is
yeah,
screwed. You know?
yeah. Yeah, and the thing is, no one can be a Catholic or a Christian and be promoting paganism, be praising Buddhism, be praising Hinduism, and it's not just them doing it. By the way, it's not just these guys who are now called saints, but it's not only as well. John Paul II is not the only one who's called a saint now who is doing this, because they also quote canonized John. No, hang on. John Paul I has been, quote, beatified, which means that now they need to call him blessed, and he accepted all of this. John Paul II is the great canonized saint, allegedly, but he was engaging in all of this stuff, kissing the Quran, praising Buddhism, praising Islam, praying with every religion. He did this twice. He brought them into Assisi, and he did this sort of thing all the time. But the worst was when he brought them into Assisi, an Italian town where we had great saints like Saint Clara of Assisi, and Saint Francis of Assisi, or Sancta Chiara of Assisi, for example. And we have these great saints from there, and he brought them in to pray with all of the pagans, supposedly praying for peace to make it sound nice. We're praying for peace, but bringing all the pagans in, taking down crosses, taking down crucifixes, getting rid of everything in the church that is Christian, so that the Muslims could pray towards Mecca, and the Hindus and Sikhs can have all their idols in our churches. And this is apostasy, bowing down to Buddhist statues. That's something John Paul II did. And it's also John the 23rd is a quote saint, and he at least promoted similar sorts of things. He did promote Islam. He brought Shinto Buddhists into the Vatican. They promoted all these pagan religions. And Paul VI did very similar things, and he praised Buddhism, Islam, Hinduism. So they now have, many quote saints who praised Islam. Even Mother Teresa, if you look into Mother Teresa, the one they call Mother Teresa, she praised Hinduism, praised Islam. She says Allah is the same as the God in the Bible. Krishna, she even said Krishna is the same
Oh
as
no.
God. Krishna is God, Allah is God.
Today you made me so disappointed of many things because I used to think about this woman highly, and
Yeah,
I'm really upset for myself because I spoke many times about how good she is, because I didn't
she
know.
was generous. She was generous. She was very generous, but
Yeah,
at the
but I
same
mean, but
time,
I
she
mean, but I mean,
promoted pagan religions.
all the good is gone. You know,
Exactly. Yeah.
all what you said. You see, guys, it doesn't matter how much you know. Sometimes you find that you know nothing really. I just learned
Yeah.
from my brother here a lot of things I never heard of. Yeah, I never heard of.
Yeah. I
I
can
never
share
heard of
all the
anything.
proof of that.
Yeah, I never heard
I
of
can
any of
share
this
all of the
before.
proof of that. Yeah.
Yeah, what I
But it's even found in the Vatican II quote council that you have mentioned before. Like you mentioned it, that they concluded it in 1965. This is from the Vatican II, one of the Vatican II documents from the council, and it was an anti-council. True Catholics will reject this council if they know what's in the council. If someone is ignorant, I understand. For example, my great grandparents or my grandparents, but especially great grandparents, that generation was, just not focused on working and things like that. And it had just come out, so it was not the time. So I understand if someone's ignorant, it's fine. But if someone is aware of these things and they still accept that, you can't really claim to or be opposing Islam and opposing paganism and things like that when you are accepting this. So this is what Nostra Aetate says, and this Nostra Aetate is Vatican II's decree on non-Christian religions. In the Vatican II document Nostra Aetate number 3, it says, quotes, "The Church also looks upon Muslims with respect. They worship the one God, living and subsistent, merciful and almighty, creator of heaven and earth, who has spoken to humanity and to whose decrees, even the hidden ones, they seek to submit themselves wholeheartedly, just as Abraham, to whom the Islamic faith readily relates itself, submitted to God. Hence, they have regard for the moral life and worship God in prayer, almsgiving, and fasting." End quote. And it goes on. There's much more that they said to promote Islam as well. But this is just apostasy. How can you be saying that Islam is like a good thing? It's moral. They worship God in prayer, almsgiving, and fasting. They submit themselves wholeheartedly, just as Abraham did. This is outrageous. And they are saying, I can read this as because they are saying this. They worship Allah, living and subsistent, merciful and almighty, creator of heaven and earth, who has spoken to humanity and to whose decrees even the hidden ones seek to submit themselves wholeheartedly. So, because they say that they worship the one God, when they're saying that, they're saying they worship, who do Muslims worship? Allah. So they're saying they worship Allah, who is living and subsistent, the living God, merciful and almighty, the creator of heaven and earth. Really ridiculous. Catholics have
Listen,
to reject that.
listen. There is some people, they are saying Christian Prince, he is insulting Catholic, but you are Catholic.
I'm a Catholic,
Okay,
absolutely.
but those people, they are saying, I did not even say 1% of what you said.
Yeah.
You know,
Because the thing is, because I'm
not
a
because
Catholic,
I'm
I'm
not willing
aware
to
of
say
these things.
but not because I'm not willing to say it, but I'm learning from you now what you are saying. I never heard this
Yeah.
before. You know, honestly,
Yeah, sadly.
I never heard of any of what you. I know only about. They said Islam is part of Muslim are part of salvation. I heard about this one,
Yeah.
like 2 or 3 things, and that's it. I never
Yeah.
know that it's so bad as you are saying. I'm learning from you.
Yeah.
If I
And this
know,
is what they've been. Sorry.
yeah, if I know this from long time, I will be activating my weapon,
Yeah,
you know, because
absolutely.
I spoke against everybody. You know, how come they did not
Yeah.
upset when I speak about a Jewish rabbi or Orthodox
Yeah.
or a Protestant? Guys, did I make
Yeah.
videos against Protestants who they are priests? I
Yeah.
did. How come nobody get
Yeah.
upset? How come when I say the truth, I don't take a side? If somebody,
Yeah.
anyone who say defend Islam, he is a fraud. You do not
Yeah.
need to be
Absolutely.
genius. He is Catholic, he is a Protestant, he is Orthodox. And then, if you claim to be a conservative Catholic, shouldn't you be? You shouldn't be jealous first to
Yeah.
Jesus. So,
Yeah.
when I say I'm against having icons, right? And I challenge you to show me like a proof of that. How that is an insult to you?
I would say that personally, I have icons in my room all around me and statues, and I like them of the saints, of our Lord Jesus Christ, of the Blessed Virgin Mary, of Saint Gabriel the Archangel, and much more. But um, the thing is, what we're talking about is on a different level, because it's one thing to say that you don't want to use icons. I love using icons. You should accept icons. In my opinion, you definitely should. But having said that, it's a completely different thing to be praising Islam, praising Buddhism, praising Hinduism, and they've been doing this, since 1958, since the end of 1958, 28th of October 1958. John the 23rd stole his election, and in the conclave he stole it. There's a lot of evidence for that, and since then they've been promoting paganism. That's unacceptable, and saying, by the way, that atheists can go to heaven. That atheists go to heaven, there is no hell, that's universal salvation. And John Paul II, who they are now calling Pope St. John Paul II the Great, he also praised pagan religions, brought pagan religions into Christendom and into churches many times, countless times, and said that had these events where the pagans would pray and he would pray with them and he would pray like a pagan, and taught that everyone goes to heaven, universal salvation. He said that because Christ came down incarnated as a man, he united himself with all men and everyone goes to heaven. And I challenge anyone who says that that's not true to come now or anytime, somehow contact me and we can have a discussion with it publicly, because this is all true. There's so much evidence for all of this.
All right. Well, there's things people they can agree with you. There's things we cannot. There's something we can say. We can debate about it, like the icons. But when it's come to defend Islam, praising false religion,
Yeah.
obviously that is not out of the debate. For me,
Yeah.
it doesn't make someone who have icons doesn't make him not a Christian. I say that many times. But
Thanks.
this is my belief. I don't want you to be upset, but I'm being honest with you, because I can be a hypocrite and say to you, "Oh, it's good to have icon." But for me, I believe that we are trying to replace God by having an icon which is not even Him. It's not even an image of Jesus. It's not even an image of Mary, and God never said to us to do so. So there's no need for it. I believe that you're a good believer and you love the Lord from
Thanks.
your heart. That's why you have jealousy. That's why you are saying what you are saying. Those who have
Yeah.
jealousy, usually, unless they are doing business, usually they are true believers. So
Yes.
what the image can do for me? Nothing. Images is images. I print them, I rip them, I burn them, I do as I wish with them. I buy them, I sell them. So they are images. We know that. We know better. But
But
however,
you would never do that with like Christian images, because that's what Muslims do to Christian imagery.
my friend, it's not about me, I will do or not, but those are not a Christian imaginary. They are not. They are not. Is that Mary? It's not. Is that Jesus? It's not. So you convince yourself that this is Jesus. But for me, when I look at him, this is not Jesus. We don't even know how Jesus looked like. Like now, you have an icon of the Shroud of Turin, correct?
Yes.
All right. At least if you use this one, at least I can say this one nobody painted, right? It is
It's a great miracle.
okay. So at least this one, if it is true, because we cannot confirm 100%, we don't know. But if it's true, I can say, okay, at least this is, nobody did it, no handicrafted. It's a miracle, as you say. And then they put it in the wall.
Yes.
But the other images have nothing to do with Jesus, have nothing to do with Mary. And Jesus never said
Yeah.
to us to do. So if it's a miracle,
But
it's a miracle. All right. If it's
But
true,
I would say that we still need to do it, because I do believe truly in the true successes of Saint Peter. And he was our great apostle, and he did give his succession to the people that later on taught all of these things extremely plainly and clearly. And so I certainly will continue using icons, but obviously it's different. I don't
sorry,
consider icons to be
I
divine.
did not hear you clearly. Who is the first who gave this teaching?
Well, Saint Peter, the apostle, he
Saint,
gave his
Saint Pete?
authority to his successors.
No, no, you see, I believe this is wrong too. I will explain to you why. After all what you said about those popes, do you think Peter, he gave them the authority to be what they are, what they
Well,
are?
these are anti-popes. The thing is, the
No, no,
church
no,
has
no, no. You
taught
see,
that
no,
if
hold on. You see, either we say the authority is all the way connected, and it's true, and it's from Peter, or we say that those are not really people hired by the authority. And
but
if you go in the history of the Catholic Church, we will find tons of popes are bad. Not only those. I mean, now they are
there
praising
were
Islam.
people who were sinning, but they were not people like, for example, there were people who would take wives and things like that, right? But there were no people. For example, this is what Paul VI said in a general audience to Japanese Shinto Buddhists on September the 5th, 1973. There was no one who ever said anything remotely similar to this.
All right.
It is a great pleasure for us to welcome the members of the Japanese Buddhists Europe tour, honored followers of the Soto Shu sect of Buddhism. At the Second Vatican Council, the Catholic Church exhorted her sons and daughters to study and evaluate the religious traditions of mankind, and to learn by sincere and patient dialogue what treasures a bountiful God has distributed amongst the nations of the earth. And he was quoting from Ad Gentis 11. And then he said, Buddhism is one of the riches of Asia, end quote. There was no one who said anything like that ever
Yeah,
before. This is
you
something
see,
that's very new.
but I want you to understand me. You see, my English is not good as yours. I try my best to explain myself, but I'm limited with the language. Uh, if we say that Peter, he gave the authority, and Peter, he received the authority from Christ, correct?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, that means the Pope, any Pope, he is appointed by Christ at the end of the day, correct?
But there's evidence. Well, someone can lose it. If a true pope, number one, there's evidence that these people are people who usurped the throne. They stole the elections, especially John the 23rd and Paul the Sixth. There's abundant evidence that they stole the
Yeah,
elections from the true
but this is
popes,
not
who were Cardinal
this is not
Tedeschini and Cardinal Siri.
yeah, but this is not my argument. My argument is anyone he is the Pope, he is appointed by Christ according to the Catholic Church,
If they
correct?
were true popes, but a true pope, even if they're appointed by Christ and they're a true pope, and then they teach this, then they become an anti-pope, and we have to reject them because a Catholic can't accept promotion of Hinduism, Buddhism, Islam. It's forbidden.
Hmm.
You know,
Well,
they taught anti-pope Francis taught that to a 14-year-old boy, but he's taught this sort of thing several times, that his atheist father is in heaven and that atheists go to heaven. It's fine, you know, as long as you're a good atheist and you are
yeah,
not
but you see,
anti-Christian, you'll go to heaven.
my brother, listen carefully. What we are trying to say now, we're trying to say there's bad Pope, there's good Pope. But then where is the protection of the authority of Peter? That means Peter protection does not exist because when Jesus he spoke to Peter, and this is what the Catholic quote that he is going to be the rock, and whatever he hold in earth is going to be held in heaven.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
if the authority is the authority of God, and nobody can deceive the authority of God, nobody can fabricate election with God.
Yes.
So
Well, no, they can.
how you can?
Not with God, but with people they can.
Exactly. So, but that's mean the authority of Christ is not there because nobody can go against the will of Christ. So, this is not really what Christ command, and those people, those popes, regardless of the good or the bad, they are just men who have no authority from anyone except from their own institution. Because
Well,
if
the authority comes when they do things that are acceptable. So, for example, a pope can teach that, we are going to use Latin in Italy. You know, that's something a pope can say. You know, the church's documents will all be in Latin. That's something a pope can teach. A pope can teach that we are going to evangelize people or go on a crusade or something like that, and Catholics must submit to that. But when it comes to something heretical, another Vatican II document from Nostra Aetate number 2 is, quote, thus in Hinduism, the divine mystery is explored and expounded with an inexhaustible wealth of myths and wealth of myths and penetrating philosophical investigations, and liberation is sought from the distresses of our state either through various forms of ascetical life or deep meditation or taking refuge in God with loving confidence, end quote. And that's talking about Hinduism. The divine mystery is explored in Hinduism and they take refuge in God with loving confidence. So the thing is, a Catholic pope cannot teach that. And so someone who teaches that, even if he was a Catholic pope appointed by Christ, once he teaches that, that's something that's a pagan apostasy, and Catholics will obviously reject that. We have to reject that. But their authority is to be able to rule over councils and teach certain things. Like, for example, a Catholic pope can, as we have popes, like Pope Eugene IV, they can teach that baptism is necessary for salvation. That's something that a Catholic pope can teach. But in terms of all this other stuff like promoting paganism, it's impossible for any Catholic pope to teach that.
you know the story of Judah when the Messiah cast him out in the Last Supper,
Yes.
which is Judah, he was one of the disciples, correct?
Yes.
Okay. The Messiah, he cast him out because he knew what he would do, right?
Yes.
That's what he would do to those popes. He never hired them. And
Well, these people, yeah, I agree. These guys, I agree. But the true popes, I mean, some of them are saints who are in heaven.
you see, I'm not saying there's no no good. Excuse me. Sorry, I'm losing my voice.
For
I'm,
example,
I'm
Pope
not.
Eugene
I'm not
IV taught
saying.
at the Council of Florence that, quote,
Yeah,
from John 3:5, unless we are born again of water and the spirits, we cannot, as the truth says, enter into the kingdom of heaven. The matter of this sacrament is real and natural water, end quote. So he is promoting baptism and saying that it's necessary for Christians to be baptized. Like, to become a Christian and enter into the church, you need to be baptized. So if you want to go to heaven, you need to be baptized.
yeah. This
That's what
is
Pope Eugene IV taught at the Council of Florence. That's what a Catholic Church pope can teach
okay,
infallibly and
but
dogmatically.
I
But
want.
when it comes to promoting Hinduism, if someone says that, then they're just not a pope.
Okay, but you see, the problem is now we are saying in the same house there is bad and good, right? And all of them they are pope.
They're not in the same house. There's some, in the same physical building, but not the same spiritual building.
Yeah, but now how people will survive this? Because people are the victim. People are going to because they've been taught to obey the pope, to surrender to him, to
Yes,
submit.
yes, yes, yes,
And that's
yes,
why
yeah.
I'm saying there's no way Jesus will appoint someone. He is deceiving his children's. So this is why I say those popes and the church,
Yeah.
any church. Not, but I don't want to mention name only because my people say, "Are you speaking about Catholic?" No, any church. You are appointed by God when you are with God. You are not appointed when you disobey Him. Free will.
That's what we're saying.
Yeah, but what happened in the Catholic Church? Sadly, you know a lot better than me. I have to agree. I know nothing about really. I mean, everything you are saying, I'm learning from you.
All right,
You
thanks.
you gave me like a wave of information I never heard before ever in my life
Yeah,
about Catholic. But all my life, I don't know really this information you told me. I never heard of it because
yeah.
I never studied it. I focus on certain things, which I do. Uh, but based on what you said to me and based on what we learned, it is dangerous if we don't stand and if we just defend just because we belong to a church. And I respect that of you, that you are a Catholic and you are saying what you are saying. And here is the issue. If a person is not a Catholic, he speak, everybody will go, they will throw rocks at him.
Yeah.
But now, I assure you, many, they will throw rocks at you.
Yeah, certainly, definitely. You're right, absolutely.
Yeah.
But we are agreeing on that when someone is teaching from the church, like the true teachings of Christ, the true gospel, then they are a true pope appointed by God. But when they start teaching that Hinduism is a great thing with lots of riches and wealth, like meaning in spiritual sense, and same for Buddhism, and that they have the divine mysteries and things like that, they're just non-Christians because the
Eh,
church has taught very clearly that it's necessary to be baptized and to be a Christian to be saved. So it's only Christianity that's true. This
brother,
has been taught very
I,
clearly.
I have a simple question. If there is any verse in the Bible that Peter, he hired somebody to be the one after him?
Um, I'm not certain, but I do know that after you know, the Bible was written, you do have a lot of people that were talking about the next popes and saying, this guy is the pope, and straight afterwards, historically. And we
No,
also know that the popes, the
this is
first
can't be
popes, were
true.
mentioned in the Bible.
No, this cannot be true. You know more than me for sure about Catholic, because the beginning of the church, nobody used the word pope. They used bishop, correct? Bi-
The Bishop of
Bishop, priest,
Rome,
bishop,
but
priest.
father. Pope just means father, so we can say pope is literally
All
just
right.
father.
Yeah, but they don't use that term as a pope. Nobody use it. However,
Well,
if,
father,
if,
it just
if
means father,
okay,
papa.
the Holy Father.
Well, yeah, well, I would say they are holy, of course. Like if it's a good
No,
pope, like Eugene the Fourth.
but this is against what the Bible teach because the Bible says don't call anyone father, no one in earth, nobody, against it. And then you add the word holy. What? But you just said they are human. Or the Bible says all of us we commit sin, all of us.
No, but the thing is, someone can still be righteous even if they've committed sins in their
My
life. They can
friend,
still be a
my
righteous,
friend,
holy person.
holy? No, he's not holy. Righteousness. First of all, the word righteousness is given to Abraham because it's considered as an act of righteousness because he was a unique between his people. Otherwise, there is no righteousness between us. The righteous, the clean of us is the same as a dirty rag. That's what the Bible says. And if
That's true, but at the same time, there are people that are righteous. You know, for example, in the Bible, it says it commands us to be righteous and
it
holy. It
commands us
depends
to
on the
be righteous,
translation you're
is
using, but
exactly, yeah.
some
But
translations, like the Douay Rheims, they say holy. You need to be holy.
okay, let us say, be holy like your father, but you are not holy.
Yes.
Right? Okay. But, so that's why I'm against using the word holy, because the word holy presents something else, different level, and we should not elevate any human being. For all of us, we are sinners. And this is the problem. When we start elevating a human being, we are not elevating God no more. We focus on this person. So the Pope, you want to go and visit somewhere, millions of people are waiting. It's became a show. It's like a tourism, you know. It's not really something have to do with religion or have to do with God. It's about tourism. Even many countries
But
they invite
that's
him.
something recent.
Yeah,
That's something very recent.
maybe,
Like that was not the case. You know,
maybe,
that's something
but
especially that John Paul II, he created that whole scenario that the quote Pope Saint John Paul II the Great is the one who made it like this publicity celebrity sort of a thing. Like he made it look like, you know, to be he's not even a pope, he's an anti-pope, but even though he was an anti-pope, he made people think that being a pope is about being a celebrity. But before then, popes were at least good popes were humble men.
all right. I will take what you said, you know, and I will not argue about, because I don't really know much about those popes. But what I know, and you agree with me, there's many they were bad and evil. They are satanic. In the same time, when I ask you, do you have any proof that Peter he hired anyone, and he told that one the same as Jesus said to him? You know what I'm saying? Because let us say Christ, we know the verse in the Bible. Christ, he said what he said to Peter, but he said that to Peter. So let us say, for the sake of argument, Peter he met me, and he says, Christian Prince, I you are the one who will be after me. Do I have the authority to make somebody after me? No. The authority given only to Peter. If, as we understand the
Okay, I
verse,
see what you're saying. You're saying that, but if Saint Peter gave the authority to his the next person who was Pope, which was I think Linus, and it was Linus and then Clement, and all three of them were mentioned in the Gospels, by the way, and certainly in or
uh,
rather, sorry, at
well,
the very least they
hold
were
on.
all mentioned in the New Testament. I think Saint Peter, so Saint Paul wrote, for example, about Saint Linus when he said in Second Timothy chapter 4 verse 21,
Yeah,
"Make haste to come before
yeah,
winter."
but you see, I'm not talking about names or mention. Does it mention that Peter he commanded anyone the same as Jesus commanded him?
Well, at the time, the thing is that when St. Paul was writing that, Pope Linus was not the Pope yet. So,
No, no,
if you want to
no,
say Bishop of
no.
Rome, but Pope just means father.
This is not the question. The question is, okay, Peter, who have now he been given authority by Jesus, did he name anyone?
We know it from history.
But this is how we can trust. Same time, I don't believe that this authority will be inherited, because the Messiah he spoke to one person. You see, the disciples, all of them, as a disciple, right? So
Yeah, all of them, yes.
when he say to Peter, who is worth to be like to be after Peter? One of them before anyone else. One of those disciples, not anyone else, because they
But
are
they
the
were
most.
not in Rome. Not all of them. I mean, most of them, in fact, were out of Rome. It was only really since Paul and
Does
Peter
it have to
as the
be?
major.
Does it have to be in Rome? Like Jesus says, you have to be in Rome.
Well, as Catholics, what we believe, and this is what the church teaches. The church teaches that the Bishop of Rome is the supreme pontiff and the Holy Roman Bishop over the whole
Yeah, but
church,
this is
right?
not.
With supreme jurisdiction.
But Jesus never said anything supreme about Rome, right? So this is not.
It's not about Rome; it's about Saint Peter.
No, no.
But Saint Peter did finish off
You
in
see,
Rome. That's where he was martyred.
what Peter have to do with Rome? Is he from there?
No, but he ended up in Rome, and that's
So
where his
what?
successes would come from
I
because that's
I
where his position was.
I'm born in the Middle East. I ended in America, and then my president is Joe Biden. What I can do about it? What does have to do with this?
Well, if you give on the next, you have a successor, and then say it's going to be the next CP will be someone from America, right? The next Christian prince will be an
No,
American
not
Christian prince the
necessarily,
second.
because all the names who they are good names, Peter he knew them, and they are around the world. So he can write a letter says, okay, I'm Peter. This is the person will
But
be.
It's not St. Peter who directly chose his successor. It was the church in Rome who chose them.
You
So it was
see?
the bishops that were in
Yeah.
Rome. It was the people, even
Okay.
with public acclamation
I'm
from the
not
people in
against.
Rome.
I'm not against the church. Any church to choose someone to be a leader. That's a good thing.
Yes,
But
yes,
what we
yes.
are saying, claiming the authority, hijacking the authority, is the problem. So now what happened? The Catholic, they claim that Peter gave us the authority. The Orthodox, they say the same. And then the Protestant, they said, none of you. So we took a sentence Jesus said to Peter, and we make a fight over it, and we did not follow the command of Jesus. Because
But we
if,
also know that the way that they were treated, like for example, Saint Clement was very close to Saint Peter, and Saint Linus was even buried right next to Saint Peter.
my friend, I'm not saying they are bad. I'm saying that we take verses from the Bible and we make them fit as we wish. So now, let us say, as you said, certain people, they were so close to Peter, and even maybe he
Yes.
said, "Okay, you know what? You deserve to be the one who take care after me. No problem."
And then the whole church in Rome chose him afterwards, chose Saint Linus, and then chose
Yeah,
Pope Saint Clement after
but
him.
this is not, none of this is written in the Bible as Jesus, as Peter saying that. In the top of that, if he hire one, that's it. The second one, he don't have authority of Peter. What's happening today now? All of them, they claim that they have the authority of Peter, which is given from Jesus. And what will happen now? We have a person, people, they have absolute control, and he became like a god on earth. Wherever he go, people bend their head, praise him. Thousands of people waiting for him in the balcony just to wave his hands. I mean, I feel sorry for Jesus. Nobody did that for him.
I
Nobody.
feel sorry for Jesus with regards to these anti-popes who claim to be popes and yet they are just extreme apostates. You know,
They
they're
are.
not. They are anti-popes. They're not the pontiffs of Rome. They're not supreme pontiffs over anything. They are just the leaders of
I
the whole of
understand.
Babylon.
I understand. But what I say is the same as this Orthodox priest. He said, Yeshua, he lost between your saints. So instead of now focusing in Yeshua, we are focusing in saints. We have too many saints. Anyone will, we give him a name, title, and then became a tradition. And as you see, the tradition is getting ugly. So for me, I have to warn people that men are sinners, men are fool, men, they can be deceived and they can deceive. It can be either one, or it can be both. So my advice, if you want to seek salvation, is not to seek a pope, a priest, a person like me, or anyone, to seek what Jesus says to you. The Bible is there, and this is the best guidance for you. Anything else, I believe it's not, unless it's not from God, even if it's good. Even if it's good, which mean, let us say you mentioned that many good pope, right? It's
Yes.
from the
Yeah.
man. This is a good teaching coming from him. He's a smart, he's a decent, no problem. But this is still not God. So always we have to go back to God and say what He said to us, and we examine anything go out of the line. Obviously, it is bad. So why we have a leader? Because we expect him to lead us, right?
Yes.
But he have to lead us according to the light of the Bible, not according to his own light.
Yes. Agreed.
The second
Agreed. So that's why I reject these anti-popes who promote paganism.
all right. Well, I'm happy to have you. Feel free to join us anytime. I'm actually, I want to thank you because I learned a lot of things from you today, which usually I don't
All
say.
right. Thank you very much.
Usually I don't say
And if
it.
anyone wants the information, I'll share it with you. Just, send me a comment or something, a message, and I can share the information with you because there is abundance information that these
Yeah,
guys, these
you
anti-popes and
better not
Vatican
to
II
go to
sect
Sam
proclaimers.
Shamoun page. He will make he will make a drama about you. Yeah, and now I'm sure he will make a video about. Just wait.
Well, I challenge William again to a debate in that case because, with regards to William, he defends all of this. He makes excuses for the anti popes promoting pagan religions, promoting atheism, and stating that hell is non existent. William Albrecht makes excuses for it. He
I
says
don't
it's
know. I
fine.
mean, I saw this guy for 2 seconds. He sounds like a kid. He's talking like a kid. He's immature. So I don't want to mention
Yeah,
his name anyway.
he is.
He's just a kid.
Yeah, William is a liar.
Yeah, he's a kid. For me, he sounds like a kid. There's many people
Yeah.
they have a beard, but even goat have beards. Anyway, brother, thank you very much. There's many
All
people
right. Thank
waiting.
you very much.
I appreciate you. God bless you.
Thank you very much.
All
Thank
right.
you very much, CP. Bye.
Bye bye.